What's up guys, it's your host, Ampalpowski, back with another Dragon Ball related video, and today we have What If Goku Was the God of Destruction, Part 3. Let's try to hit 100 likes for this video, and if you guys want to know exactly when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. Seriously, thank you so much for the support. I'm sorry for this such entirely long wait. I've just been extremely busy with school, and of course I have Spartanic Arts DxD as my main channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll be honest, those things aren't part of my agenda. The humans from my universe did the same thing and it didn't change. That's why I destroyed them, he confessed. Why? Humans won't change, even when a power greater than themselves challenges them. Tell me if I'm right. Have they created countermeasures to kill your league even after all of the good you have done, he asked. Yes, but only after the Syndicate came to Earth to conquer our world. She said she was looking down before looking back at him. Tell you what, if you join me, I'll grant you one thing you desire from Earth, and whatever it is. I'll honor it no matter what anyone says, he said, in an honest tone that she didn't believe could exist. What will they think of me? I was sent to a man's world to spread the Amazon ideals, but they rejected them. The leaders see my people as a savage race that doesn't know better. Maybe my mother was right. They only help themselves when they can get help from their own people, she thought as she looked at Kakarot. I don't care what they think. They invaded my home and killed my mother as she tried to reason with the outsiders, and I forgave them all but still protected them. No more, she angrily thought before breaking the chains that held her. I want my people brought here to train and become powerful so that they lay waste to everything that stands before them. Do that and I'll join you, she said as she crossed her arms. Fine. Your Amazons can come here, but to become the strongest is easier said than done. Your people will have to work harder than before if they want to be recognized among my army. They'll get it done, she said in pure confidence that impressed him. Alright, we're going to Earth, but after I have a meeting with someone. I think you fought her before, he said as he walked out of the room towards the throne room. Diana followed, but was still debating her decision, and every time she tried to find a reason not to betray Earth, she found a better reason to go against Earth. Kakarot just ignored her troubled state and focused on making a deal with his recent associate. It really bothered him that he had to make deals rather than destroy the planet after taking their technology, but Barda advised against the decision, saying it was savage. Pressing the labs, Diana saw some kind of armor being mass-produced. It unnerved her that it looked the same as the armor Superman had when he severed Darkseid. It had even the same emblem and helmet. Kakarot turned to the next door where an observation window was placed. They walked down the hall, and Diana saw more types of armor being produced. Some human-sized, other inhumans, in a group that looked designed for those with special abilities. I want my army protected after they finish their training. They will be unmatched by any common soldier and challenge for those who are powerful, he explained as they left the hall and stopped at the giant doors with a lightning bolt split between them. He kicked open the doors a little too rough and knocked them off their hinges. Diana kept her distance since she could see that he was a little annoyed by something. He walked in the room where a battalion of guards were standing in front of someone. The guards were wearing green armor to match their master and held glowing sticks with an electric tip. Stand down, a feminine voice ordered. Diana's eyes narrowed as she saw a beautiful figure she knew all too well, dressed in a revealing outfit for any man to look at her. Her body was something of men of lower classes yearn for, and men with the power. Start wars. 4. Her red hair was curling in a braid and her smile flashed as she saw Kakarot. Her yellow armor on her legs clanked as she walked forward, her arms covered by the same armor and her yellow cape dragging across the floor. Her breast bounced with each step as her ass jiggled as well. Her smile fell as she knew who behind Kakarot and immediately raised her sword. Diana raised her sword on her own, prepared to defend herself, but Kakarot grabbed their blades and shattered them into pieces. Stand down, both of you, or I will do something both of you won't like, he said in a low tone that sent shivers down their spines. Maxima recovered as she dropped the hilt of her broken sword. Why is she with you? Are you making alliances with the League now? She asked as she glared at Diana. Diana chose to remain quiet as she glared at Maxima. Did you really ask such a stupid question? He said as he walked past her and towards the crate from her brought. True, but why is she here? She pointed in Diana's direction. She and a team came for a visit when I captured one of my mates. They tried to fight me and failed. She fought to distract me as they escape and warn New Genesis, he said fluently as he opened the crate. You trust her? She said. No, She didn't join for 6 months until I made a deal to bring her people to my planet, where they can train to fight powerful beings. If she betrays me, I'll just kill everyone she loves and let her rot in my cell for the rest of her life, he said as he examined the advanced weapons in his hand. Maxima smiled at hearing his answer. She received reports that Darkseid was killed and sent to the Justice League as a warning. That caught her attention, but seeing he was everything that reports said made her body heat up. She couldn't wait to give her terms of the weapons in her army. With a quick walk, she was behind Kakarot as she put the gun back into the crate and looked at her and jumped with a little when her face was too close to his. Alright. We're here to make an alliance, so what is it you want from me in exchange for weapons and reinforcements? You want a planet you desire or something from my planet, he said, as he crossed his arms and stepped back, from much to her disappointment. Diana's eyes widened as she saw him resist her charms. Most couldn't even resist looks. Superman fell to her charms once, but his friends released him from her hold. Her respect for him increased slightly, but not much after hearing what he would do if she betrayed him. Oh, I want something from this planet. I want you, she whispered, the last part in his ear, as his eyes narrowed. She pressed her breast in his arm and brought her lips to his cheek. He pushed her far away, stood atone on the top of his throne, sitting down and looking at everyone in the room. If you want me, Maxima, then you have to give me a lot more than weapons and an army, he stated as he watched her walk towards him, saying her hips. I'll give you everything you want, she said in a sexy voice that caused him to smirk. Give me full control of the Alamark and full command over your army, he said, that caused her to stop in her place. No way! What will I be left with if I gave in to you? She asked as she watched his body shift. Let's see. You will become my queen, a mere powerful empire and the mate of a god. If my understanding is correct, you want to be the most powerful offspring, and what better offspring is there than with a handsome god such as myself, he said, with a smirk as he watched her debate her choices. Diana couldn't believe that she would consider giving up her people, but stopped when she remembered she was doing the same. What's the answer, my dear Maxima, Queen of Alamak or the universe? He said in a low tone. She frowned as she thought it over. Her mind kept saying Alamark, but in her heart wants to be more powerful and respected. She locked her green eyes with his yellow ones for a few moments before she smirked. She walked towards him and straddled his waist, leaning into his face. Maxima, Queen of the Universe, was her answer as she planted her red lips against his. The whole room remained quiet as the two leaders had a heated makeout session. Kakarot smiled as he heard the low growling of Diana, decided to do something no one should suspect. He slipped his fingers into her green underwear, and oh my god. You get the point. You heard her, Queen. You obey me now. I want Alamark producing weapons for an army and have a planet ready for war in 6 months. I want your spies focused on New Genesis and other potential targets, and I have sent, he ordered as he left the room. Let's go, Diana. We have to get your people and bring them here, he said as he left the room and walked across the hallway that led to his room. Opening the door softly, he placed smiling Maxima on his bed and turned towards Diana, who had a frown on her face as she looked at Maxima. Why do you look mad? He said in a teasing tone. Not what you're thinking, she said as she turned towards the door. He grabbed her arm and pulled her body close to her, eyes widened as she felt his toned body underneath his spandex top, his rough hands on her soft skin. Basically, they have sex. Let's just cut to the next thing. To Earth we go, he simply said as he saw the room change and a blue planet was floating in front of them. Her eyes widened as she saw the world she learned to call home. Want to change your mind? He asked with her expression. Why are you offering this? You should be evil and cruel, no heart, a monster, she shouted. It would seem unfair that I let you betray your friends without reason. If you're going to join me, then I want you to forget this world and forget that those you used to call friends. You only watch out for your family with blood while destroying those who threaten those. No forgiveness for those who killed something you love, only death. I learned it won't change nothing when they die, but it makes the pain a little easier, he said, as he stared at an area lit up with gunfire. Her eyes narrowed as she knew the League would fix it, but the humans would do it again. They would save humanity again and again forever with nothing changed. The villains would attack banks or make some scheme that would destroy the world. She became annoyed about how many "you can't stop me or I will rule the world" fairies villains would spout but ended behind bars. Then, not even a week later, they would break out and do the same thing again. She had enough. It was time for a change in the routine. I won't change my mind. Let's go to my house, she said as she took a flight towards the planet. As you wish. Here's your communicator. He landed her earpiece that was ringing in his hand. She took the piece and took flight with Kakarot as they drew closer to Earth. During the flight, her communicator had gone off when she entered the atmosphere. She looked at Kakarot and saw him give him her stern look. Her hand trembled as she pushed the button and heard a deep voice come through. Diana here. Diana, how did you escape? Superman told us that he was coming up to plan to get you, Shreya shouted. I broke the chains and stole a boob tube. I'm on my way to Themyscira to talk with my people. We're on our way to meet you. We just want to make sure you're okay, she finished. The transmission stopped. She remained quiet as they shot through the clouds and into the open sea. Who killed someone you love? She found herself asking. He remained so quiet that she stopped asking, but his voice resonated through her ears. A tyrant named Frieza killed the woman I loved and respected. She and I were the last of our race, but her Saiyan side wanted revenge for Frieza did to our people. He explained the story. Flashback. Kakarot had arrived to witness his mate lying on the ground with broken armor with a bloody face. Vegeta! He shouted as he landed next to her and put her head in his lap. He had just come out of the tank from his fight with the Ginyu Force. Vegeta told him that she would stay by his side when he fell into unconscious. He opened his eyes to see her gone, and Frieza at his final level with a weak Vegeta near death. He blew up the entire ship and blasted her location. Kakarot, she whispered as he held back his tears. I'm here. I'll get you to a tank and take care of Frieza. I'm strong enough to finish him now, he said as he picked her up. Her stubborn attitude made her stand by herself. I don't need your help, Kakarot. We have to finish him now, she shouted as her aura burst to life. Frieza looked at the duo with a smile as he raised the pointer finger. They both froze as they saw his wicked smile, glowing finger aimed at Vegeta. You two have become a real pain in the ass for me. In my quest for the Dragon Balls, I could have immortality right now, but you idiots killed the Guru. He stopped when he heard the two Saiyans chuckle. What's so funny? He shouted as his beam intensified. We kinda scared him to death when we blasted through the roof, Kakarot said. We would have knocked it if we knew we had a weak heart, she laughed out loud. Ugh! Just die, you stupid monkeys! He shouted as he launched the death beam at Vegeta. Her eyes widened as she saw the body of her mate in front of her with his arm raised. Frieza's rage increased as he let loose flurry of attacks, that which one was deflected. You don't harm my mate when I'm around. Time to face a true Super Saiyan, he shouted to the heavens as the powered up to the max. Here, Vegeta, he said as he handed her a green bean. She ate it quickly, but her power now matched Kakarot's. Blue girl, create this. She asked her mate as she knew was referring to Bulma. That's the perk of having human genius recreate the instant healing effects of a planet I destroyed, he said in a confident tone. Whatever. Let's get this bastard, she said as she took a stance for our home people. For our home people, the Saiyans, he repeated, as launched at the tyrant with new purpose to avenge his people. For an hour, the fight was intense. Storms raged as rocks fell underneath the might of Frieza as two Saiyans who challenged the tyrant. The planet shook as they battled, but it took a turn for the worse when Frieza unraveled his secret. The shock of the two Saiyans. Frieza was only using 50% of his power, so basically he was toying with them the whole time. They floated in the air as they watched lightning dance around Frieza's body, and his muscles slightly change. Without a second thought, they launched their ultimate attacks, straight at the tyrant. Purple and blue beams mixed as they traveled to their target. With a smirk, he raised his hands as he caught the blast and crushed it beneath his palms, leaving smoke trailing from his fingers. Kakarot and Vegeta look up in pure shock as he rubbed his hands together to shake out the numbness. Bullshit, Kakarot muttered, feeling no energy of beginning to consume him. We tried, Kakarot, but it looks like the Saiyans are coming to an end. Sorry, father, she muttered and leaned close to Kakarot as she watched Frieza create his famous death ball. Now die, you stupid apes, he shouted as he launched his attack that would destroy them in an instant. We can't lose like this. The Saiyans are the greatest and I can't let them die. Not like this. I'm sorry, Kakarot. Hopefully this idea will help you kill Frieza and become the greatest Saiyan to exist. She thought with tears as she kicked him away from her and looked at his shocked expression. As he watched her with wide eyes, he heard the last thing that destroyed him on the inside. I love you, Kakarot. Then she was engulfed by blast, and he changed the day, only wanted to achieve one thing in his life. The dream of the greatest Saiyan in the universe has ever seen and will forever feel was Kakarot's dream now. Flashback, end. His eyes narrowed as he remembered looking at the planet, and his beloved died on seeing nothing but darkness, just like his broken heart. Diana stared at him in disbelief. That caused her to stop flying. He stopped and looked at her with a sad smile. What? That someone like me doesn't know what it's like to not have power to protect the thing you love most? Like I said, I would give up my power just to be with her. But she would be disappointed in me for letting beings forget what a Saiyan is, he said in a sadder tone. I'm sorry, I had no idea, she said. It's alright. But don't tell anyone about this. It's a secret between us, alright? He gave her a charming smile. She nodded and smiled, feeling better that someone can relate to her loss of her mother, and that she is the only one that knows his past failure. Her nervousness left her as they flew towards the island, and the idea of joining him was at ease. They touched down on the beach as they looked ahead and saw a black jet already parked. He gave her a second nod as he disappeared into the shadows, but could still feel his eyes on her. Walking forward, a guard spotted her and alerted everyone of their queen's presence. She walked into the courtyard filled with her sisters. She gave a smile as she saw her sister, Donna Troy, run and gave her a death hug. Thank the gods you're safe, she said, but Diana frowned, thinking her gods gave her the abilities but never actually rewarded her for saving their place in power, or when Hades stole a powerful object that could kill them. What's wrong, Diana? Oh no, nothing, just thinking, that's all, she confessed. All of her comrades appeared around the corner. Starting from Flash, Hawk Girl, Batman, Power Girl, and lastly Superman. His body glowed with power as he flew past everyone and swept Diana off her feet and crushed her with a hug. He planted his lips on hers and it felt like the happiest man alive. She felt completely different. The kiss left a disgusting feeling in her stomach. She tasted throw up and her head screamed to punch him. He pulled away as he looked at her with his perfect smile. She pushed him away and took a deep breath, ready to explain what happened and what is going to happen. Now we're with Kakarot. Why are they naked? I know they're not humans, but you don't need the name to tell the difference, he thought as he looked at the ceiling of the beautiful temple. He saw the name status in named portraits of their gods. Seriously? They love to be naked that much? Kakarot thought to himself. He just shook his head as he watched a little waterfall in the center. He stopped staring when his gut feeling was telling someone was watching him. He slowly turned and came face to face, or well, faces of glowing humans that looked like the same as the pictures. He looked at them confused till the white-haired one walked forward. God's great, he replied in a sarcastic tone. You dare mock us, human? Do you have any idea who we are? The white-haired one shouted. First of all, I'm not human. Secondly, I really don't care who you are, because your existence isn't at all terrifying, he replied as he walked past the white-haired one, as he learned was named Zeus. Don't walk away, boy. You better respect the ones that hold your life in your hands, Ares replied as he blocked Kakarot's path. Do you really have the power, or do you just cause some miracle that humans falls for? He taunted as he pushed past Ares, but a giant hand grabbed his shoulder. He growled as he felt the muscle of pain in his shoulder. We have watched the world for years, and not one have we seen someone so disrespectful to their betters, Poseidon said as he turned his head. The light in his eyes glowed brighter as he heard their arrogant comment. He quickly turned around and grabbed Ares' hand. The god fell to his knees as he clutched his hand in pain. He rarely felt pain, but this was by far the greatest as he watched the golden-haired man crush his hand. He turned to Zeus and ripped Ares' arms off. The god's blood spilled as he looked at his own blood in horror. Kakarot approached Zeus and stood directly face to face. Who the hell do you think you are? You're a joke in this universe. You watch one planet filled with idiots and you toy with them as they are a game. You let power go to your head. Are you really powerful? You should feel so proud making humans bow to you. How does it feel to rule such a weak race? He taunted as Zeus growled in anger. You think you are gods, but you act the same way as a human does. Threaten people so they can fear you. Curse people so they can laugh at their foolishness, and worst all, use people to fix your problems that could end your reign. You are terrible gods. I know humans that could do better than you. You say you're not human, yet you act just like one, he challenged as his power grew. You little... Shut it! You cannot challenge a real god to a battle. Compared to me, you are far weaker than you think. Now what do you want? We know what you plan to do with our champion, Athena finally spoke as she stomped towards him. Is that it? If this pointless conversation, then I'm blowing up this temple. Why do you want my people? What good will they do you? Athena continued. I want the Amazons to fight for my planet. They don't belong on a planet where men treat women as their unequals. They deserve to fight in battles they train for, not hold up peace. What kind of life is that for warriors? He said. A life when they have suffered for many years by the hands of a man, she replied. Diana told me how long that was. With me, they can take the revenge. They can annihilate my enemies and tell the universe to fear the Amazons. They will be legends amongst the stars, he said as he watched Athena remain unchanged. You won't take them and use them for your purpose, she stated and pulled her sword out with Ares, Poseidon, and Zeus drawing their weapons. He narrowed his eyes as he looked straight at Athene. I wasn't asking for your permission, bitch. And that's how I escaped his prison. Diana finished her story as the Justice League listened closely, still not believing she could easily escape. That's how you escaped? I thought you had to fight the way out. To believe that the man replaced your chains with weaker version is hard, Power Girl stated. But she and Clark paused as they heard some form of battle in the temple. The Justice League looked towards the two Kryptonians and saw them looking towards the temple. Please don't let them see Kakarot, she frantically hoped. Boom! Her hope was just crushed. 3 bodies flew through the air and landed right in front of everyone to see. They heard gasps as they saw bloody, beaten forms of Athena, Ares, and Poseidon laying on the ground attempting to get back up. I told you. You're weaker than me and have 0 chance of beating me in a fight, Kakarot shouted. The flames. Everyone looked at the flames as they saw a blood-covered Kakarot walking toward them carrying the head of Zeus in his palm. You! Superman shouted as his eyes turned red. Shut it, little boy. The gods are talking here, he commanded as he threw Zeus's heads at Athena. Kakarot! Diana shouted as she glared at him. What? I was just admiring the statues in that building, points to the blown-up building, and then these so-called gods attacked me. I was just defending myself, he pleaded as he looked for something to wipe his blood-covered hands. That doesn't mean you should level a building and kill a god, she shouted as she stomped toward the sand god. I would apologize, but your gods are idiots when it comes to having a conversation, he paused as he looked behind her, then back to her. I take it you didn't tell them about us, he smirked. I was getting to that, but a Saiyan god blew up a building and caused a huge panic, she said. Beep, beep. Continue with your explanation. I gotta take this, he said as he turned around and began talking to someone on his earpiece. Diana turned around and faced a group of confused and angry people. You're working with him? Superman shouted as his eyes glowed brighter. Why do you care? You left me on that planet for 6 months. 6 months! Do you have any idea how it felt? Hope your friends would rescue you, then discover they were doing their usual routine like I didn't exist? We were all sick and worried about you. Nothing has been the same since you were taken prisoner. Donna defended everyone, but she saw the doubtful look on her face. Sister, why is it that you were the only one who believed I lived? She asked her sister. We assumed that you were killed, just like Hal was, but when he blindly attacked Kakarot, Batman finally spoke. Diana wasn't surprised they would assume her dead, but it did annoy her that she didn't try to find out if she was dead. Kakarot was right. They did forget about her. They did leave her to die. Sisters, we are leaving this planet and everything it stands for. I have served the world for man for too long, and nothing has changed. There may be good, but it will never rise over the filth that rule this planet. Someone has offered a chance to prove ourselves, not only to the world, but to the entire universe. We could be known again, but if we stay here, we'll rot away like this planet. She shouted to her sisters and ignored the stares of her ex-colleagues. Why should we leave? We will only serve a man and again in his conquest to kill everything, Artemis shouted over her sister's chatter. Actually, if you join me, then you will only serve your queen. It's a small price to pay, but I respect that you warriors have become. My race was denied their final battle, but the Amazons can be given battles they trained their entire lives for. Don't you want to be feared by enemies that thought themselves superior? To destroy those who doubt your strength because you're a woman? I join me and lay waste to the fools that doubt your skill and talent, Kakarot shouted as he rejoined the conversation. They thought it over and all of them knew their legacy was doomed to be stuck on this island. They saw their chance to become warriors they were destined to be, and this was their chance to prove themselves to the entire universe that the Amazons deserve respect and should be feared by all who their name. Don't you dare join them, Athena shouted as she limped towards Kakarot and Diana. Will you still listen to a false god that kept you hidden from the world, or follow your queen that knows you more than the gods do, Kakarot challenged as he walked towards Athena. They're lying. They only one to use you. She continued to argue, but many frowned as they saw their goddess weak and rambling on. Sisters, Athena has used me to complete her task. She isn't a true warrior like us. She sits on her golden chair and watches how stupid we are and barbaric we have become. No more, she shouted as she had drawn her sword. Please, Diana, listen to yourself. This isn't you, she pleaded as she saw the sword rise in the air. Diana, no! The entire Justice League shouted. That's what happens when you ignore our problems for too long, weakling. She finished as she slammed her sword down and cut the goddess's head clean off. Her head rolled to the ground and all the Amazons looked at their goddess falling to the dirt. Anger coursed through their system as they looked at the man responsible for Diana's change of heart. With a battle cry from Power Girl, the League attacked Kakarot. With any chance to defend himself, he was tackled by Karen and Clark as they drove him into the ground. Earthquakes followed as the punches were thrown. Diana watched in horror as she saw brutally of the Kryptonians as they pummeled Kakarot to the ground. Do you know what they're punching? Kakarot whispered to Diana as he watched the dust fly. She looked at him with open mouth and back to the dust bowl forming. How did you that? She whispered back. I grabbed somebody and put them in my place just before they tackled me. Who's getting pummeled? She asked as she saw the two beings stop throwing punches. Just watch. The dust cleared and the two Kryptonians stood up with pure horror plastered on their faces. Everyone saw a bloody body laying on the ground, but everyone could tell it was Poseidon, who was dead from their combined assault. We have to go, Diana. New Genesis battle group was spotted entering the system and clearly heading for Apocalypse, he said as he opened a blue tube. Kakarot! Superman shouted as he launched towards the Saiyan. He had to concentrate a little counter to Kryptonian and send him flying into the atmosphere with an uppercut. Move, Amazons! Our new enemy awaits us, Artemis shouted as she watched her Amazon sister run through a portal. Kakarot raised his hand as he fired a key blast at the charging League. They flew far away from the area and landed inside a forest. How long is this going to take? Kakarot shouted. 3 minutes top, Diana shouted as she took flight to hold off Superman. I guess that leaves me with the jugs of Steely and crazy lady with a stick, he muttered as she watched Hawk Girl and Power Girl shoot from the trees. You're going to pay for what you did to our friend, Karen shouted as her eye glowed. By all means, make my day, he challenged as he took a stance. Cocky bastard, taste my mace, she shouted as she launched at the Saiyan god with intent to kill. His eyes narrowed as he took this fight seriously for the first time since getting here. He saw her mace come towards his face, but he blocked the weapon while deflecting Karen's right hook. He gritted his teeth as he was pushed back by the duo, his feet digging into earth as he held his ground. Reacting quicker than they could see, he launched a flurry of attacks against Power Girl. She failed to defend. Her durability was tested as she threw powerful launch towards her gut. She hunched over as her insides were racked with pain. Hawkgirl blocked a powerful kick aimed at her head, but couldn't stop the quick movements of the fist breaking through her golden armor. She lost her breath as she threw her over his shoulder into earth. He thought were scrambled as he planted his left foot on her stomach and raised his left gauntlet towards Power Girl. Stop trying to fight me. You know it's pointless, he simply said. That's the one thing heroes never know, handsome, Karen said. We never know when to quit, Shara shouted as he hit his leg with electricity. To her and Karen's surprise, he stood perfectly still, unaffected by the power of her mace. You know Darkseid tried that on me. Imagine the expression when it didn't work. Stayed the same when I ripped off his head. He said, but a boom was heard as Diana came flying down and impacted Earth with a thundering boom. She slowly rose from her crater with cuts and bruises from her own fight. Doing all right over there, he taunted. Shut up, we're done. All my sisters are at Apocalypse. How could you know? You just dropped in, he said, but a simple gesture, but the empty area gave it away. He rolled his eyes as he lifted his foot from Shara and walked towards the portal. Ladies first, he gestured and gave a polite bow. She rolled her eyes and entered the portal. He looked at the sky as he saw a glaring Superman, decorated with scuff marks since the sun healed his wounds almost instantly. I'm coming for you. You can hide behind an army, but that won't stop me. You will die by my hands, he declared. Kakarot just rolled his eyes before disappearing in front of Superman. His eyes widened as he saw Kakarot appear right in front of him. His eyes closed shut as his ribs broke from the concentrated power punch Kakarot delivered. He gasped for breath as he floated in the air. I can destroy your planet quicker than you can blink. Your friends could easily be killed by me, and this entire solar system can be destroyed by me. Threaten me again, and I will kill one of your friends. Try and stop me, and you will perish. Those that challenge me, because you are nothing, come compared to me. I have bled and trained to get where I am. You rely on your own power to win, but guess what? The universe doesn't work like that. The strongest survive and the weak die. He finished as he dropped an axe punch on the man of Steely's neck that sent him flying into the ocean. He remained stoic as he landed in front of the portal and began walking through. "Ah!" Karen shouted as she tackled him into the portal. The portal closed as a beaten Justice League slowly emerged from the forest flash, limped as Batman stumbled through. They saw a beaten Hawkgirl looking at nothing, with Superman bursting from the ocean. "Where's Karen?" Flash asked as he attempted to kneel next to her. "In portal," she whispered before passing out. "Damn it, we have to stop him," Clark shouted. "You and I both know we are no match for him. If you took the time to train and hone your skills, then you would be a more formidable opponent. But you don't. You rely on your strength and luck to win battles. It shows what you're a true warrior like. It shows you are not a true warrior like Kakarot," Batman said, but held his head from concussion. "Are you admiring him now?" he shouted. "He is someone that truly is deadly. I watched him fight Karen and Shaya from the forest. He executed his moves with efficiency, no wasted movements, and more powerful strikes. He fights like a true warrior, and it shows he continues to train even after obtaining so much power." He reasoned as he walked towards the jet. "What do we do then?" Flash shouted as he limped to the jet. "Train," Superman said as he carried Shayera. Everyone saw Kakarot flying through the portal with Power Girl pushing him. They shot towards some ruins and landed in a massive mound of dirt. He slowly looked and shook his hair to get the dirt out of and looked towards a weak Karen who was laying on her back. "Why would you do that? If you were as smart as the hub said, then you wouldn't make such a stupid mistake and come to my planet where our sun is sort of like red and stuff," he said as he picked her up by her arm and threw her over his shoulder. He flew out the dirt mound and shot towards the palace. He landed in the courtyard and walked to his throne room. He walked through the still busted doors and saw Barda overlooking the battle group on the approach of his planet. She gave a sly smile when she saw him with Power Girl over his shoulder. He raised his finger before she could talk. "She followed me home. I told her no, but she tackled me into the portal," he explained as he walked to the guards. "Take her to the dungeons." He came back and saw Diana talking with Barda, but he focused on the holo display. "You filthy dear," Barda said with a smile. "I thought that's how you like me," he replied back with a smirk. "You know me too well," she replied. "All right, Barda. Get Diana and her people situated with the new training regimen. I will take care of the battle group coming. I have some pent-up anger to release." "There's other ways to release that anger," Barda replied with a sly smirk. "Ha! Just do what I said and we'll see what happens after I get back," he said as he checked the numbers of the battle group. He narrowed his eyes as he saw the size of force and decided not to enter the fear. "You want to insult my planet by sending a weak force, then get ready for hell," he said to himself as he pulled up commands for his planet. "Let's see. Furies here. The Furies are here. There is a 10,000 dregs and 5,000 parademons, all trained and ready to fight," he said as he walked to the other side to see where the force was heading. "Coming straight for me. The battleships are slow, but powerful. The cruiser only carries troops with little weapons to put up a fight. They follow behind them, so I need to take out the battleships before my troops can attack them, or I can't let them walk right up to us. That might cause some damage to the facilities." He pondered as he checked the distance and time it would take to reach them. "My lord, we need some help. The Kryptonian is awake and is burning holes through the labs," the guard explained as screaming was heard from the lower levels. "Then put her under a red light. That should make her harmless," he ordered. "Yes, sir." The guard left, and she ran straight into the frowning Glatona. He apologized to the woman as he ran past her. "What is it, Glatona?" he said as he looked at the map, clearly busy with plans. "New Genesis is battle forces heading here." "That's right. I'm going to let you fight them," he said as the red button was projected from the map. "Well, that was easier than I thought," she confessed, began walking away. "Stop! Come back here," he commanded. She turned around and slowly walked to Kakarot. "Yes, my lord?" "What were you up to?" He narrowed his eyes with suspicion. "Oh, I was, coming to see you about the battle ahead." His eyes were burrowing into her soul. "There's communicators for that. No, hurry and tell me before I order you not to join the battle with your Furies." "I came to see you," she muttered. "What was that? I couldn't hear you," he taunted. "I came to see you," she said a little louder, but gasped as he wrapped his arm around her waist. His hips pressed to hers and her back against the wall. She moaned while she slipped his... Oh my god, whatever. "We'll continue this when the time is over," he declared as he pushed the glowing button in the entire palace. "Time for what?" she asked. "War. And that is where I'm going to stop for now. Thank you guys so much for the support on this series. I know I haven't posted in 2 months, but your boy came back with a 30-minute banger. So once again, thank you for so much support. I always wanted a Dragon Ball What If channel, and this is my time, okay? This is my time to come out, because I got a supportive audience from Spartanic over to Palpowski. So seriously, thank you guys for the support. Let's try to hit at least 100 likes to continue the series. And without further ado, Palpowski out.